Good afternoon again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the disclaimers and the warning. We are reading now directly an op-ed from the head of the MDRI. We've gone over that. We're going to read some statements of some of the other individuals who are a part of this. Dr. Israel is trying to tell you that the arguments that these people make it's biased. It's not based on any evidence at all. They're lying. Or they are intentionally basically saying we're intentionally miscuing. We're intentionally trying to mislead you. What do we have? Why would we do that, doctor? What do I, a call center jockey out of Missouri, have to gain from this? I'm not making any money doing it. Unlike others who covered the JD versus AH trial, I'm not monetized. There's only about 395 souls who are subscribed to this channel. And since I've stopped covering pop culture to mainly focus on this and other schools like it, I lose a few here and there, right? What do we have to gain? Money? Fucking where? Dude, where? I live in an apartment. Okay? I am lucky to finally have a little bit in savings. Mostly I've lived paycheck to paycheck. I don't get anything out of this, doctor. Not power, not money, recognition, right? You just want recognition off of us. Dude, I had that before I even knew about this place. It's called hard work. I know you're allergic to it, doctor, but some of us actually enjoy it. MDRI, ARC, Easter Seals, March of Dimes, ASAN, ADAPT, NeuroClastic. Several groups and individuals like us do not have anything to gain, and matter of fact, have everything to lose. This is we all know y'all love suing us, okay? We know the threats we're up against. This idea that we are just willfully misconstruing what the JRC does because what? What, doctor? What? You can't finish that argument. And the reason you can't finish that argument is very simple. We have nothing to gain. We've got a lot to lose, but nothing to gain. It is in no way, shape, or form benefiting us to come after you. We're not just targeting poor Matthew Israel and the poor JRC. Okay? Shut up. Now to the disclaimers. In the description box, folks, you're going to find the link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It's written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed. They interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so please read that article and share it on all your social media. We also have linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC has the balls to see through with their threat. We also have the Ozarks First article in regards to the Agape boarding school / Stone for Help boarding school situation. This is a school based out of Stockton, Missouri, Christian themed, that takes in so called troubled male teens, that has impending over 21 civil lawsuits, claims, and allegations leveled against it, all which have been substantiated by the hard evidence gathered by the Missouri Department of Social Services, and they include the following: sodomy, rape, sexual assault, child abuse, psychological and emotional abuse, child trafficking, starvation, and that's just for starters. You have one former staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor who's still on premises with full access of the boys, up on multiple, again substantiated by hard evidence, claims of sodomy, rape, and sexual assault of the boys there. You have an attorney general too busy obsessing over drag queens to actually do his job and actually protect kids from pedophiles. And you've got a governor who's just gone batshit. So, remember, folks, I now live in a state where they're trying to pass a bill through our legislature so women can't have, short sleeves in the Senate chambers. If you want to know how backwards it is, send help. So please share that article on all your social media. We got the pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign as well, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, Jennifer Masemba's behavioral sheet of shockable offenses, a clip out of the 7-hour ordeal undergone by Andre McCollums back in 2002, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, all right? This channel is marked not for children for a reason. We use profanity and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, parental supervision, very obviously advised, all right? All right, trigger warning. We are about to once again descend into the mad ravings of the lunatic mind known as Dr. Matthew Israel. You're going to hear gaslighting, victim blaming, lies, pseudoscience, abuse, and torture apologencia. Enough ableism and bigotry to circle a globe a few thousand times, all from a man with a massive ego and a fucking god complex from hell. So just be prepared for the stupid, all right? All right, let's move forward here, shall we? Now, to do introductions, Dr. Matthew Israel is trying to discredit the individuals who are a part of the MDRI report. He's doing so badly. Matter of fact, as he presents each of these individuals, it actually convinces anyone with 2 brain cells to rub together that they're actually right. He could not have tried any harder to do a more clear contrast between the individuals who actually work in the field and have actual clinical experience and himself. So let's move forward, shall we? One of the co-chairs of the Coalition for the Legal Rights of People with Disabilities is Polly Zan Cobb. She testifies for the same Massachusetts bill to ban adversives every single year. She is credited with having provided MDRI with historical data, research, and interviews. Oh, the horror! I thought we didn't have any data, doctor. Isn't that what you said? We have no data backing up any of these other programs that are available out there. So which one is it? Do we have the data or not? Truth is, we have the historical as well as the current data in regards to what is going on in the field right now and what he's been up to. Right? It can't be both, doctor. Is there no data to support us? Or does it exist? Because facts are, folks, it does exist. And it's not coming from us either. It's coming from completely separate individuals running programs inside colleges and hospitals and clinics all over the world. Individuals who have no dog in the fight. None. None. No dog. Who are doing these studies without bias. And the numbers back us up. You're not doing yourself any favors mentioning this, doctor. You can try to put the quotes of historical data, research, and interviews all you want to. Well, when you pull up all of that research that was conducted, when you've got state governments, the trial notes and evidence from California and Rhode Island, before you ever even began using the shock devices, look all this. Look at it. Just look at it. But we don't have the data. Woo, look. Look. You're seeing what I'm saying, right? We've got plenty of evidence, doctor. ER documents. Local doctor's notes. DESI reports. Surveillance footage. Reports done by the FDA, by your own state, by New York. What was found, what you got up to in California and Rhode Island. We know everything, doctor. And it's not based on opinions or accusations. Okay? Speaking as someone who covered the JD versus AH case, you want to know what you're saying? Basically, the doctor is trying to equivalate us with people like Amber Heard. Okay? All we have is accusations, no evidence. He seems to go utterly silent when all we have to do is give you a link to a website where you will find everything that we have collected. Yes, including those who've come out to defend his ass. Right here on the web, linked for you to pull it up, to read the evidence, and decide for yourself. Makes his argument completely stupid, doesn't it? But let's read the next one. Matthew Engel, an attorney with the Massachusetts Disability Law Center, also testifies each year in the favor of the same bill to ban aversives. He has represented several JRC students in the substituted judgment hearings in which JRC seeks to obtain approval for treatment plans for its students that involve aversives. Mr. Engel is also a source of information for the MDRI report. Again, you see how that's proving our point, not yours, right? Individuals who have an inherent deep knowledge of this case, who have represented the survivors to try and actually protect the students from you. Oh, but we're the bad guys because, you took him out, you took him off the device, and he scratched his arm and died. But I don't want to talk about the psychological damage I did to that kid. I don't want to talk about how when you fuck up and traumatize a person, how that can affect and in fact make worse their inherent disability. Is it me or you who doesn't want to have this conversation, doctor? Because I'm right here. You can come by anytime. Anytime. Yeah. In comparison with you, doctor, the individuals that you are saying are biased and are, for whatever fucked up reason, intentionally so-called misconstruing the facts, none of these individuals have anything to gain from this. I have nothing to gain from this. ARC doesn't. March of Dimes, Easter Seals, NeuroClastic, None of us have nothing to gain from this. You are providing a contrast of a doctor who is completely lacking in knowledge in his own so-called field to individuals who have a mass knowledge in this field with documents and data to back them up. And you are somehow trying to use this argument as a means to say that you're correct? Yeah. Let's do a little bit more. I want to try to make this a little bit longer. Kim Mullins is an attorney who represents Evelyn Nicholson. Her son, Antoine, was a student from New York who attended JRC and whose aggressive behaviors responded very well to JRC's skin shock treatment procedures. On February the 15th, 2006, Evelyn Nicholson suddenly withdrew her consent to use the skin shock device for Antoine, a request that JRC immediately complied with. No, you didn't. Why did he end up in the ER, doctor? If you complied, how did he end up in the ER? Her demanding money from JRC, as well as from her school district and the New York State Education Department. One of Evelyn's lawsuits has already been dismissed. It was appealed and won. And this is the case, doctor, that you got caught trying to destroy the evidence. So if his mother's arguments were invalid, tell me, why were you trying to destroy the evidence? One of Evelyn's lawsuits. The first time Mr. Mullins visited JRC, he brought with him a reporter for WNBC TV to agree with a meme out there on Twitter. Good. What you're doing should be exposed. In New York, but introduced the reporter only as his associate. Yeah, because we're gonna fucking tell you that they're there to investigate what you're really up to. Do you not know how investigation journalism goes, doctor? What, they're gonna tell you there so you can fill them with bullshit propaganda? No, a real investigative journalist wants to get to the bottom of it. They want to go to the areas that you don't want them to see. They're not just going to sit there and blindly follow whatever propaganda that you have and just announce to the world that the JRC is just wonderful. No. Okay? Shut up, Karen. God damn. The TV reporter Tim Minton did not reveal his true identity and subsequently aired several unfair and sensationalized news stories about JRC, which put JRC in a very negative light. How is it sensationalized, doctor? Dr. Matthew Israel likes to use sensationalized when all we're sitting there doing is pointing out facts. I saw that report, doctor. Want to know what he did? Stated facts. That's not sensationalizing. And I will again move you to the concept that an investigative journalist is not there to just blindly swallow your propaganda bullshit and regurgitate what you want to tell them to say. They're not your fucking puppets. An investigative journalist worth their salt is going to want to go to the areas that you don't want them to go. And they're going to want to know why you don't want them to go there. They want to see with your own eyeballs what you're really up to, not what you say you're up to. They want to shine the light of truth on the situation. If they were to tell you immediately, as soon as they opened the door, that they were a journalist, would you have ever let that happen? An individual caught destroying evidence? And as an individual who has been caught destroying evidence, why would a journalist in their right mind reveal themselves to you when they're trying to get down to the bottom of what you actually do there? As an individual who destroys evidence, You leave them with no alternative. We then have to go gather it, right? How are we going to gather that evidence when you continuously destroy it? You send in an investigator. See where I'm going here, right? You show yourselves in a negative light. The DESI reports speak against you. The New York Department of Special Education speaks against you. The UN Special Rapporteur on Torture speaks against you. The United Nations speaks against you. Every single fucking human rights group in alphabetical order speaks against you. Okay? Mr. Mullins' suits against JRC and against the school district are still pending. He won, in case anyone's wondering. He has something to gain, both financially and in terms of publicity in that lawsuit. Really? He has something to gain. Really. A dude who took a case pro bono. A dude who is known to not really do anything without hard evidence. Do you even hear yourself? Do you? Do you? Because I don't think you do. An individual who is a lawyer, it is their duty to represent their client to the very best of their ability. You know, kind of like your fucking shit lawyers. But you can win millions of dollars off what, doctor? What? I highly doubt this mother had unlimited funds. Okay? Spare me the bullshit. A negative report on JRC by MDRI, therefore, would be very helpful to Miss Mullins, who was the source of information for the report. Doctor, that was not what the decision was made off of. Let's talk about that lawsuit, shall we? We've gone over it on this channel. We've actually read the court documents. You want to know what it was based off of? What that win was based off of? It wasn't off of that one reporter. It was based off of the EOC documents of her son. The fucking third-degree burns on his torso and on the backs of his legs. It was the evidence found by his psychiatrist and psychologists of post-traumatic stress disorder. It was the video surveillance footage that you ordered destroyed that damned you. It wasn't any sensationalization on Kim Mullins' part. Kind of like the JD versus AH case. It was one on facts and evidence. But Dr. Matthew Israel doesn't want you to know that. But I do. And again, I encourage you to read it because all this you are very easily able to find, read, and decide for yourself in this massive archive here, which is one of the very first links in the description box. So I encourage you to read it. You'll find it here. You can actually even find all of this. It will take you to the court cases and everything. Everything. On evidence, doctor. The exact evidence that you tried to destroy. In fact, this was the very court case that, due to his actions, forced him to step down as head of the JRC as a part of a plea bargain to keep his ass out of jail for trying to destroy evidence. So if Kim Mullins was just sensationalized things to win a case, why did you feel the need to destroy the evidence? Couldn't you have just won the argument with your stellar argumentative skills? We're going to close on that. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit those comments. It's time for me to once again stretch and kick my own ass. So, send vibes. Good ones, preferably good ones. I do appreciate your time. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. And again, here on this channel, we invite individuals to think. So please feel free to go through that massive archive to see for yourself. Bye-bye, everyone.